We're in a much better mood, man. I know I could sense it with you, too. Getting this news about Damar Hamlin today has just been, I feel like a weight is being lifted. Obviously, you know, in these situations, they're fluid, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and you got to be cautiously optimistic. But this feels great, this news that we heard today out of Cincinnati, Nate. You know?
It really does feel great. And I don't want to be overdramatic because I don't think there really is a way to call our reaction collectively overdramatic. But as a country, we witness certain things. You know, we hope that most of them are great, right? There's sports moments. There's Jordan dunking from the free throw line. There's a home run in the World Series. There's a knockout by Tyson in the 90s. There's things that we share when it comes to sports. And we hope that it's something that we could sit around a water cooler and discuss, or at the barbershop, or when we all get together in the off season. But then there are moments like this that are shocking and jarring, moments that leave us traumatized. I mean, look at the players on the field, tears streaming down their eyes. And as I was watching it, I was thinking about the coaches, the people in the stands, and even everybody at home watching. The reason I bring all that up is because you said there is a sigh of relief, and we're all taking that breath, just hoping that we'll continue to get good news, because this was another moment we witnessed, of course, on the end of the spectrum of negativity. And, you know, we all want to hear good news moving forward when it comes to Damar Hamlin.
No doubt about that. Nate, if you could, unless you have reached out to T. Higgins or have plan on it, let's just say that right now, what would you say to T. Higgins right now, Nate?
That it's not your fault. You know, there were a few people that were floating the thought that, you know, it was the offensive player who initiated the contact, or he lowered his head or his body. And we are going to have injuries in sports. It's inevitable. Rich, you know this. It's a 100% injury rate. I'm never a guy to blame the other person. I remember being in Chicago, catching a ball and coming down and searching for the ground. I was a little bit higher than expected. Cornerback draped on my back. I came down. My knee was fully extended, and I had a tibial plateau fracture. And once I was talking to the doctors, and this is what I found out later, he said this is common in car accidents when people brace their legs and they're bracing for impact. The reason I bring that up is because immediately it was one of the worst injuries I had, and I knew it in real time. I could feel the bulge in my knee underneath my spandex. As soon as I get up, I collapsed. And in that moment, I didn't blame the ball being too high or the field or even the corner. It's part of the game. So, you know, when players are starting to think about being on the field at the same time or even being involved in that play, I just want to reiterate that it's not your fault. It's part of the game, unfortunately.
Exactly. I mean, he was just playing football, you know, and I just hope he's not sitting here thinking, you know, why did I cross the field to get those extra yards, right? Like he could have just cut up and just gotten down. It was a first down, but why did I do what I did? And why did I collide with him the manner in which I did? And I hope that's not the case. I really hope it's not the case, because you know his next snap of football.
I don't believe it is. And to be honest, I think it might not have anything to do with that particular play and him feeling guilty. A more appropriate question is, you know, is he having difficulty getting back on the field in any manner, whether it's just being physically free to do what he does, because he's a talented wide receiver. And then will he have any mental blocks because of what happened? And let's just take it a step further. Now we're really diving into the layers of being a wide receiver. What makes T. Higgins unique and guys like him is that he is explosive, that he can cross the field, that he can avoid tackles, that he can make certain moves in between players that fights for those extra yards. Now, does he play differently? Does he, instead of going and fighting for those extra yards, does he slide? If he's close to the out of bounds and he could go for 3 or 4 more, does he go out of bounds? These are questions that I think players are now wrestling with after either being involved in a moment like that or seeing a moment like that.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.